Hello and welcome to Doon Does DVD, and this is Disney Classics number 21, Robin Hood. Now this is one where I feel like I know quite a lot about it. I'm also not 100% sure I've ever actually seen it, because obviously I'm super familiar with the overall Robin Hood story from multiple other sources. And I'm familiar with aspects of this version of the film, but it's only stuff I've, generally picked up from pop culture and the internet over the years, not from actually ever having seen it for myself, I think. I know there's a whole thing about some of the animation basically being directly lifted from the Jungle Book. I know that it's fairly common to be oddly attracted to the Fox version of Robin Hood and all kind of things like that, but nothing related to actually which elements of the Robin Hood story are actually in this film. And I couldn't tell you if there's any songs in this one either, but I get the feeling at least that this is a fairly well regarded one, but I don't actually have anything to back that up. It's just a feeling that I've kind of made up in my own mind out of nowhere. It's possible I've just been hearing vague things on the internet over the years of people looking back through rose-tinted glasses, and maybe it doesn't actually hold up to someone watching it now for the first time. But I hope that's not the case. The story of Robin Hood does seem like it's a perfect fit for this kind of Disney film. So I'm going into this one fairly hopeful that it should be quite enjoyable and fun. Let's find out. Well, that was good, but not great, and in general, about what I expected. It's basically everything you would expect from a Disney version of the Robin Hood story, particularly one that has switched all the characters into animals. It leans heavily on the humorous aspects of the story. It relies a lot on, Robin Hood's roguish charm, although interestingly, in the first half of the film, Robin Hood's not actually in it a lot. It spends a lot of time going around other characters and setting up the world, which, Robin Hood pops in now and then, which I guess shows you his reputation rather than how he is himself. But there's a whole section with a bunch of animal children that kind of goes on a bit too long. After that there's an archery tournament and battles and things and taxes and imprisonment and escapes and fires, and it all gets a lot more exciting after that. It's a bit slow starting, but it gets there. But still, of the 21 films I've watched so far, this is the one I made the least notes about while watching. And that wasn't that I was so engrossed that I forgot to note anything down to talk about. It's just that there didn't seem to be anything notable to talk about. I know the Robin Hood story enough that nothing in this felt surprising, and there was nothing particularly innovative in the way it told the story, so it just felt a bit like something I'd seen before, even though I don't think I have. Some bits were extremely familiar and other bits were completely alien to me, so I think it's the case that I've probably just seen clips in other sources, documentaries and things like that. Although when I came to check that it had been logged on my letterbox, I noticed I had already in the past marked it as watched. But that's definitely one of those cases where past me just presumed that surely I must have seen that and marked it on my list rather than knowing for sure. Musically, there's not much here, certainly nothing that I remember, with the exception of the intro. Do 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 do. As soon as I heard that, I was like, I know this, but I don't think I know it from this. I'm not familiar enough with this film for that to have ever stuck in my head. So perhaps I've just heard it from somewhere or someone else, or maybe it just sounds very similar to something else, but that was weirdly familiar. But that's my only thought on the music in this one. It was okay, it wasn't bad, but it also wasn't great either, and it was mostly forgettable. The only part of the story that I was expecting but never happened was the return of King Richard. That whole bit's kind of skipped over and just briefly narrated about. But interestingly, as an additional feature on the disc, I saw there was an alternate ending, which did include that part of the story. And maybe that version of the story would have been a bit too dark for Disney, with Prince John going to stab Robin Hood directly while he's already dying from injuries taken while escaping the castle, only for King Richard to come in at the last minute and stop him. But me as an adult, I feel like that would probably have been a more satisfying ending now, rather than just a bit of weird narration by the rooster guy, followed by the weird kind of comical bit of Prince John in a imprisoned black and white stripes breaking rocks. That didn't feel era appropriate. So there we have it, a film not without its faults, but, you know, generally pretty entertaining. What are your thoughts on Robin Hood? Tell me about those in the comments down below. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again next week with the many adventures of Winnie the Pooh.